Hello everyone, welcome to the Jenkins video. In this video, we are going to talk about the Manage Jenkins. So basically in this video, we'll see what exactly this Manage Jenkins is all about. And I'll give you the overview of Manage Jenkins. Whatever we'll cover in Manage Jenkins, I'll just give you an overview of everything. So basically Manage Jenkins. In Jenkins, according to the custom configuration management option, we can manage the triggers of build. So when you build a Jenkins project, you can manage them, or the trigger, when you trigger a job, you can manage that. Now, Manage Jenkins options helps to configure the complete Jenkins server. In Manage Jenkins, we can configure the system, we can configure the security of the system along with the status informations. So basically, the system can be configured, the security can be managed, as well as we can perform the status of our server. Dependencies and plugins related to job can also be managed through Jenkins. And also Jenkins is an extensible continuous integration solution, enabling you to manage all aspects of build and deployment. So Jenkins basically take care of all the parts when you are building a project or before deploying the project. The portions that we will cover in Manage Jenkins is, we'll go through the system configuration. There we'll see we have different options for system configuration. After that, we'll go to the security. We'll see how we can provide security to our jobs. After that, we can understand the status of our Jenkins server, what exactly the status of our job, the server is. The troubleshooting part helps us to handle some errors or some problems along. And tools and actions just tells us that whatever actions we are going to perform on our project, we can manage it all. So basically, I'll show you the overview, what exactly we are going to do in Manage Jenkins. So basically, come to your dashboard section in Jenkins, go to this Manage Jenkins, and in Manage Jenkins, these are the options that we'll go through. That is system configuration. We'll go to the security options. So in system configuration, you see you have different options to configure system, manage plugins. In fact, you can manage the nodes and many more. Like here in security, you have lots of options. You can provide security to your jobs. You can manage the credentials. In status information, you can get the system information of the Jenkins server, as well as you can create your own logs. In troubleshooting, we can get the old data, whatever the old data we have lost, or if we want to use them again, then we can get that. And in tools and actions, just we can handle the actions, or we can write our own scripts and configure them accordingly. So this is all we will cover in Manage Jenkins. We'll go through all these options one by one in my next video. Like I'll go through system configuration, security, all topics, and I'll discuss each and every portions in these parts. So basically, Jenkins management option uses Jenkins management feature apart from configure feature. So in the configure system, we can set the home directory, the system message, number of executors, users options, quiet periods, Jenkins URL, environment variable, as well as setting regarding the email notifications. So we'll go through these all options in Jenkins, and we'll see what the users of these options are. So just I'll describe these, or I'll give the definition of all the options, and just you can get to know that what exactly the user of this configured system is. So basically, this configured system is very important for Jenkins, because once you configure your system, based on that, you can execute your Jenkins server. Now, let's get back to our Jenkins and see how we can get to this configured system part. So this is the dashboard of your Jenkins. You click on the Manage Jenkins, and in that case, you will have the options in system configuration. You have the options as configured system. So when you go to the configured system part, inside this, you have different options like home directory. So basically, it shows where your particular file is saved in your directory in your system. So it's like it's saved in the G folder in Jenkins home. This is my driver directory. So here, again, you can set the message. Now, this message, whatever you set, this message is seen on the project area. Like I'll show you when you go to the dashboard, and when you click here, you see this is an example of system message. So basically, this is the message that shows on the system, just for someone to look that what exactly we are having in our system area. Again, let's get back to our Jenkins. And here in configure system, the next option is Maven project configuration. Now, when you are working with a Maven project structure, then in that case, you need to configure the Maven project. So in that case, you need to come and configure your Maven project in the system configuration. Now, about this executors, users, and quiet period, there is a definition where you get to know all about it. So in this area, like you can set your executors, like how many times you want to execute your uh, the build project. So how many times you want to make that particular project to build. Once if it fails, like if you want to again make it go for a try, then how many times you want to execute that part. Just you need to set over here. Now, in case of when you are setting the messages, there are options like save HTML, or you can preview what type of message it will be seen. So you can have these messages in form of HTML or a normal text. So let's go through the definition of each and every part. So the first one is just how we can set the configuration message. So basically we can set by this, go to dashboard, go to the manage Jenkins, go to system configuration and click on the configured system. And once you are there, then we can go through the basic options. Like system message, already I told here, if you want to show some messages on the dashboard for the jobs, then you can write here. The message can be in form of plain text and HTML text. Now, if the message in form of plain text by default, you would like to convert it in form of plain to HTML, then follow these steps. Go back to the Manage Jenkins options and click on it. Now, after this, go to the security options and click on the Configure Global Security and go to the markup format, and there from drop down, select Save HTML options. Now here, now when you go back to the Manage Jenkins and from here, go to the Configure Security options. From here in Configure Security, you will get the options to set the HTML format, or you can say the plain text format. The text format, what you have, that is plain text format. If you want to change it from this to HTML, then you can come to this markup format, and here you get the options to change it from plain text to save HTML. Now again, the next option is here, the executors. This shows number of jobs this Jenkins can run in parallel, so we can set the value according to the requirements. Now these labels, this is used to define the name of system executing. If you set the label, then in that case, we need to pass the label name while executing the jobs. So the jobs will run according to the label of the system. This takes place when you have multiple systems on one Jenkins. So labels is just for labeling the particular system executing. The quiet period, this is the time provided in seconds. This means the time taken to execute a certain job. So provide that time period. So quiet period is basically used to provide the time. Now SCM checkout retry count. In this case, we need to set the retry numbers of SCM. So if SCM fails, the number of time it should retry is passed here in this option. Now again, you have the restrict project naming. These all options are present in system configuration. So here we can set the name conventions at the time of building project. If we want naming in some specific format, then we can set that pattern here. Now global properties, here we define the properties of the global level. That means all jobs in Jenkins can use these properties. And the last one is Jenkins location. By default, the location URL is provided. Here you can configure your own URL through your system IP, or the configuration we can do through the command prompt of our system. So these all are the options that's available in Jenkins, in Manage Jenkins, and just you need to know what exactly this all part means and why we need to have them and how we can configure at the time of building. So just this was the description of all of these options. You will experience all of this when we'll be building projects, and based on our requirements, we'll be configuring this part. Okay. So this is all about the configured system. And at last, one note for you is that there are more configurations to know. The rest configurations we'll understand at the time of learning these concepts. So this is all about the configured system in Jenkins. This is all you need to know, that what we have in the configured system. In next video, we'll talk about the global tool configuration. Till then, stay tuned and thank you.